You boy Mr. Picture. Yeah, man, they blocked me. I was about to comment under your comment, and they was like, "Nah, this goes against our bullying standards, check regulations." I'm like, what? So they ain't about to block me. I got stuff to promote. Facebook feeling sorry for y'all. That's how Facebook like, oh, they feelings get hurt on Facebook. So Facebook like, let me slow that boy up because he eat them up. That's how I see it though. My jokes was funny. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Like, the jokes was hilarious.
New details tonight about this man, Charles Ivy. Daytona Beach police say he fatally stabbed the mother of his children and then set her apartment on fire with 3 kids inside.
The defendant in this incident deserves a special place in the gates of hell for what he did to this mother and these children.
This is the story of 30-year-old Dja Mo, a mother of 3 young children who was discovered stabbed 100 times in her burning apartment that claimed the life of her 10-month-old and critically injured her 5- and 6-year-old. This crime would shock investigators, with some labeling this as the worst crime they have seen in their entire career. As the community reeled from the shock, prosecutors will charge the father of her 2 oldest children, 34-year-old Charles Ivy, a former soldier and local entrepreneur, with their murder. What could drive a man to fatally attack the mother of his children and abandon his own offspring to perish in a blazing inferno? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Daytona Beach, Florida. 30-year-old Dja Mo was described by loved ones and friends as a wonderful individual who consistently made herself available to support those around her. Her endearing smile and compassionate nature were her hallmarks. Those who knew her spoke of the warmth and kindness she radiated, impacting lives with her genuine concern for others. The role she cherished most was that of being a mother, an experience that filled her life with immeasurable happiness and fulfillment.
I'm gonna teach Dove how to say my name. Say Mommy.
Mommy.
Nikki.
Nikki.
Danija.
Danija.
Danija. Da.
Josh.
Ni.
Me.
Ja.
Josh.
Danija.
Nanisha.
At 30 years old, Dja Mo fully embraced the joys and challenges of motherhood, having cared for her 3 young children. Her firstborn was 5, her middle child was 4, and the youngest was a 10-month-old infant. Dja was a graduate of Bethune-Cookman University, graduating with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a certification in juvenile justice reform, highlighting her focus on the transformative aspects of the legal system concerning young offenders. She was also a talented hairstylist, specializing in traditional sew-ins, retwisting and styling dreads and braids. The father of the 2 older children was 34-year-old Charles Ivy. Little is known about the nature of their relationship as co-parents, but the two were not together. Charles was a man with a history of service in the U.S. Army. After his military life, Charles turned his aspirations to the business world, eager to be his own boss. He had launched Royal Cuts Landscaping, creating a team to aid him in providing various lawn services and dedicating himself wholeheartedly to its success. His entrepreneurial spirit didn't stop there, he also owned the Lion's Den Hookah Cafe.
You know what's good is making moves Monday, so the first move I'm gonna make this Monday, you know what I'm saying, let you know what's going on March 10th. I'm back at it again with I Got the Mic, you know what I'm saying, March 10th. Tickets are $10, you know what I'm saying, come with free parking, free giveaways, and 1 free drink, you know what I'm saying, it's nice. The artists, 6 of them, coming through real decent. I'm liking it, it's gonna be a great vibe. It's the 3rd one. Ask anybody that's already been to the last ones, they loved it. Best vibe in the city because it's the best platform for local talent. So come out here, enjoy yourself. It's only 10, you got it. Let's make it happen. See you there.
This establishment was not just a favored spot for hookah lovers, but also served as a venue for emerging local artists and talents to display their skills. Dja had custody of the 2 children they shared together, and the nature of their co-parenting relationship is unknown, but their journey together would eventually lead to a heartbreaking and devastating end. On the night of November 21st, the Daytona Beach Fire Department received a call about a fire at an apartment. The fire erupted shortly before the stroke of midnight, and when the firefighters arrived, they were met with an intense situation. First responders observed a fierce blaze in an apartment located on the 1200 block of Beville Road. The apartment was completely overtaken by the fire, with thick black smoke billowing out of the windows and doorways. Inside, first responders discovered one adult and 3 children amidst the chaos. Tragically, an infant was found in a crib near where the mother was located, and despite the efforts to save the child, the infant was later declared deceased at Halifax Medical Center after suffering from cardiac arrest. The other 2 children faced critical conditions and were urgently taken to Shands Children's Hospital in Gainesville for specialized care. Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari Young remarked that the injuries sustained were due to the victims being abandoned in a fire that had completely consumed the residence and were unable to free themselves from the tragic situation. It was reported that none of the children had been physically harmed or stabbed before the fire. The situation unfolded with grim details, as Dja Mo was found deceased at the scene, having sustained severe burns and 100 stab wounds, indicating a violent struggle before the fire. In their investigation, authorities discovered the apartment's kitchen in disarray, with all 4 stove burners left on. On top of the stove were charred remnants of various papers and a box, all contributing to the inferno. The state fire marshal, upon inspecting the scene, concluded that the blaze was set deliberately, identifying 2 separate origins within the home where the fire was intentionally started. One of the fires is believed to have started in the bedroom, and the second in the kitchen. The evidence pointing to a calculated act of arson. An investigation started which included the examination of CCTV footage and interviewing witnesses, which led the authorities to identify Dja's baby father, Charles Ivy, as a suspect in her murder. The day after the tragic incident, Charles was reportedly spotted in the afternoon transferring suitcases and various bags into an SUV at his home in Ormond Beach. Later, a routine traffic stop led to Charles being taken into custody and escorted to the Daytona Beach Police Department for an interview. Following the questioning, he was placed under arrest and held at the Volusia County Corrections Facility without bail. Accused of setting the deadly fire, Charles was arrested and faced serious charges. He was charged with 2 counts of premeditated first-degree murder for the deaths of Dja and her 2-month-old infant, 2 counts of attempted felony murder regarding his 2 surviving children, and 1 count of arson, painting a picture of premeditated violence and destruction. Police Chief Young reported that while Charles did not admit to the crimes, he did acknowledge his presence at the location during the time frame when the murders were believed to have taken place. With the aid of modern technology, the authorities were able to trace Charles's vehicle using traffic camera footage as he departed from the crime scene. Furthermore, Chief Young noted that Charles was found with the victim's cell phone in his possession, adding a crucial piece of evidence that connected him to the scene and the victim. This detail contributed to the mounting evidence against Charles in the ongoing investigation.
New developments now in the murders of a mom and her 10-month-old baby. Daytona Beach police say a suspect is in jail now, facing a long list of charges after detectives say 34-year-old Charles Ivy stabbed that mom and set fire to their apartment, killing the baby. Police say this happened late Monday night at the Countryside Apartments off Beville Road in Daytona Beach. 2 other kids were also inside the home during the fire. They're still in critical condition at a hospital.
We now know the 2 children who are in the hospital at this time, still fighting for their life, are Charles Ivy's own children with the victim. Now, police were back here at the jail trying to question him more today. They say so far he's not confessed to anything, and they still don't have a motive.
The evidence is clear. The evidence speaks for itself.
34-year-old Charles Ivy is now facing several murder, attempted murder, and arson charges. Daytona Beach detectives say on Monday night he stabbed his ex, 30-year-old Dja Mo, then set her apartment on fire with their 4- and 5-year-old children inside and Moore's 10-month-old, the infant dying afterwards in the hospital.
I have never witnessed anything this horrific in my entire career.
Police say inside the apartment they found the stove's burners all turned on with papers and boxes on top to start a fire, so they knew it was intentionally set. Detectives then went to track down the murderer.
We were able to track his vehicle via traffic cameras leaving the area after this incident would have occurred.
Chief Jakari Young says Ormond Beach police told Ivy about his children right after the fire. After that, police couldn't get a hold of him. Detectives went to Ivy's Ormond Beach home, saw him limping, putting suitcases in his car, and then leaving. The chief says they pulled him over and arrested him.
He was also in possession, admittedly, of the victim's cell phone.
Now, as Ivy's held in jail, his 2 children are still in critical condition in the hospital.
Their injuries were as a result of being left to die in a fully engulfed fire.
Ivy did not say anything during his court appearance here today. He's being held here in the jail without bond.
Dja's loved ones were shocked and devastated to learn what happened to her.
Fox 35's Connor Hansen spoke with cousins of the mother today, and he joins us right now in studio. So, Connor, they have to be in shock over this whole thing.
That's right, John. And family members told me today they say Dja Mo was planning to come over to their house for Thanksgiving tomorrow. They say they still can't comprehend how something so horrible could happen to such a good person.
Everybody is still shocked and in disbelief. We was just on the phone, like talking about preparing for the tomorrow.
Dja Mo's cousins, Tanisha and Princess, say they all grew up like sisters. They describe Moore as kind, with a great sense of humor, and someone who would do anything for her kids.
Nice, caring.
Police say Moore was killed by the father of 2 of her children, Charles Ivy. Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari Young not holding back after describing the horrific details, alleging Ivy stabbed her to death, then set her apartment on fire. Her 3 kids were inside. Her 10-month-old did not make it, and a 4- and 5-year-old are in the hospital.
The defendant in this incident deserves a special place in the gates of hell for what he did to this mother and these children.
Dja Mo's cousins say they didn't know Ivy at all, just that she dropped the kids off with him on weekends. They're relieved that he's in jail and are thanking all the first responders who helped.
This is the mother of your kids. You're the reason she's down here. It's just, just crazy. You can't even describe how we felt when we heard the details of, what happened.
Family members tell me they plan to celebrate Dja tomorrow and remember the good times they've had with her. They're still praying for the 2 children in the hospital. Tonight they did not have an update on how they're doing.
The prosecution is pursuing the death penalty for Charles in the deaths of the mother of his child and her 10-month-old son. The legal team is confident that they can conclusively demonstrate that Charles has a background marked by violent threats. They are prepared to present evidence that the capital crimes were perpetrated with the intention to evade capture. Additional aggravating circumstances are set to be argued as well, such as the particularly monstrous, sickening, or cruel nature of the felonies, and the assertion that these acts were carried out with deliberate and calculated planning, absent of any semblance of moral or legal justification. The motive for this murder is still unknown. The children were eventually discharged from the hospital, and upon their release, they were warmly greeted by the very nurses and firefighters who played a crucial role in saving their lives. These caregivers presented the kids with gifts, a heartfelt gesture of kindness to brighten their spirits after such a traumatic event. What happened to Dja Mo and her beautiful children is horrendous. To be so brutally stabbed and the 3 helpless children left to die in a fire is heartless behavior and could have only been perpetrated by someone devoid of humanity, a monster in every sense of the word. No circumstance should ever warrant such a brutal and senseless attack. My deepest condolences to her friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.